before we move on,
Mhm.
it's not in the doc. I don't know if you want to talk about it. Can we talk about the Mike Babcock article?
I think we should talk about the Mike
Yeah,
Babcock.
we'll talk about it.
Pierre LeBrun, the Athletic.
Okay. I don't like to crap on other journalists because I know, like, even just being in school, I know how difficult it is writing an article. Like, it's not just sit down and put the right words in the right order. It's not that, right? That's difficult to do. It's not that easy. Wasn't the biggest fan of it.
Really?
Yeah, I felt the same way too.
Because I think it's not necessarily LeBrun's fault. I don't necessarily think it's entirely on him, because he is quoting Mike Babcock. But the way Mike Babcock was talking, and it made it seem like he was the victim here.
Oh, like what was it?
The Franzen stuff. If you go read the Franzen stuff, even the way he put the Marner
Yeah.
stuff out there, which apparently there's so many conflicting things, especially with the Marner stuff, that it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's true, it's not true, it's true, it's not true.
So for people who don't know, Pierre LeBrun of TSN, great guy, and also one of the best people at The Athletic, has just done an article. He released it yesterday, I believe it was. First time Babcock has spoken since being let go by the Leafs. He talks about how he's coming to NBC. He talks about the Marner list. And yeah, he talks about Franzen at his time in Detroit. And remember, that was the whole thing of like how he was like, Franzen was his whipping boy and all that. And yeah, he's like, oh, I wish, why did I do the voice there? You can't just talk normally when you're Babcock. Yeah, just going on about like, oh, I didn't know he, felt that way. I wish I would have known and would have made it. There was no sort of
accountability. Yes.
I'd say with it. And how he talks about what I hated, now that you're bringing it up, Alex, was how he's like, I was surprised to hear that. And he's like, with all the work I do with mental health, I'm like, no, you did not just pull that card.
Yeah, that's the one thing. And I'm not quoting myself, but I'm quoting a lot of what the comments were following that article with Pierre LeBrun. And a lot of people did agree with each other, I guess, it felt like a PR piece. It didn't feel like that deep dive that I think a lot of us were waiting for about what were your thoughts. And I think, and this is just what I kind of think, that if it wasn't for that NBC position right now where, you're going to have to balance out the employment, you have to balance out the opinions of things. I think maybe we'd have had a deeper dive with this if we had a Mike Babcock that wanted to go on the record maybe 5 months ago.
I wonder if Pierre had maybe tried to talent, because obviously we don't, there's stuff that was said that was not in there.
Yeah, we don't know the questions either.
I wonder, or like what Mike agreed to, because obviously the moment Pierre hears, I get the chance to talk to Mike, no matter what is said, he's going to get all the clicks in the world. And I am in no way, shape, or form saying that Pierre LeBrun is going for clickbait here. He's like one of my favorite members of the media. But you get, like, I wonder what there was, like, because Babcock, as we know, as we've seen, is very good at deflecting questions. Like,
yeah.
he's got the what's the famous one? Like, what do you talk about? The power play was bad. Don't know about those hot dogs in the BMO field. Pretty good, eh?
Yeah.
Italian sausage.
You know what's one part I laughed at and I thought about Alex?
What?
When the whole Mitch Marner situation, and he's like, I knew I made a mistake, so I went to Lou Lamoriello and Mark Hunter.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Nice choice. Okay, buddy. Yeah, that's where you go. Oh, those were the days. Not really, but here's the thing. The way it was the way Mike Babcock positioned himself, I think it's definitely a reality that sometimes you do things that you don't necessarily know how they affect other people. I think it's just a reality of living life. It's just the way it is. But the way it was positioned in the article, maybe the way Babcock positioned it, is that he was a full-on victim. Daniel, I don't remember if it was you, Adam, or Daniel said it. accountability. I think it was both of you who actually said it, but it didn't feel like he was taking accountability. He was kind of saying, yeah, I did something wrong, but, and then and it felt like he was kind of trying to push the blame somewhere else, or trying to say, well,
when he was going on about the Marner stuff, and he's like, well, I didn't get a list. I just talked to Bozak, I think. And it was like, well, Mitch kind of thinks this. Like, okay, you did do the list, but you still told Bozak.
okay, so the same idea.
He's a work hard.
Right. So the
What are
idea
you
is still
doing?
there. It didn't go exactly maybe how it was positioned. Okay. But
Oh, God. What's he
the
doing?
general idea.
I know it's like a time. It's it's about being timely with things, but in my opinion, I think two things: that this would have been nice as a full-fledged feature, and second, I wish they added.
That was Daniel, the editor, speaking right there. Okay?
Yeah, and I think the second part, because I want I want a bit more weight to this. Second
Yeah.
is I wanted, I don't know, a thoughts on Cal Dubas part.
I'd be interested in hearing that, because I think they did collide more often than we think.
Because there's no way that was not in the interview.
Well, again, remember, I will never forget when Babcock was line matching in OT and it cuts to Dubas, and I can't read lips, but he had the same reaction visibly that we all have. Like, what are you doing?
Because I'm thinking, who did he play? You're right. It was against Columbus. It wasn't last year. It was obviously a couple of years ago.
But it was just like, what's
What are you
going through
doing?
your mind right now?
And even day one, I remember Muzzin got traded. I think we even talked about it on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Dubas trades for Muzzin Muzzin and maybe
Grunstrom,
it was
Dursey.
Grunstrom, Dursey, a first,
Tobias Bjornfoot.
who turned out to be
Yeah.
Tobias Bjornfoot. And Mike Babcock's first notable thing he says is, well, he doesn't play on the right.
Yeah, it's like,
Huh?
we'll make it work, but it's not what I really want.
He's the best defenseman, like the best defenseman who can play defense on this team.
Yeah,
No
best all
question.
around.
Best all around. You're right. Absolutely.
The Fulton Sheen of this team.
Exactly, the Fulton Reed recipient of the Toronto.
Fulton Reed. Sorry, Fulton Sheen is a Catholic priest. My
Oh.
apologies for that.
Okay.
Was a Catholic priest.
Okay.
Yes, Fulton Reed.
I heard Fulton. I'm like, that's our award.
Fulton. Mm-hmm.
All right. Shall we move on though?
Yeah, but again, we love Pierre LeBrun. It's
Yes.
maybe I don't know. It's one of those things where you're so hyped up about of a movie trailer, and then when you finally see things, like your expectations are sky high, and that's what I had.
The best parts were in the trailer. Yeah, it was. But still, I mean, it's still. Everyone should go check out the read. It's interesting. Nonetheless, you're gonna enjoy reading it. The Athletic, Sport Writers. The Athletic's just a new standard in sports journalism.